What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Weekly Indie Newcomer. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to have you here today as we hang out and take a look at Armed with Wings, Rearmed. This is a game that I was actually a little bit skeptical about because so here's what happens. Somebody pitches a game to me, they email it to me or whatever else, and they're like, can you check my game out? I was on Newgrounds, Armor Games, or whatever. And the second that people start talking about Newgrounds, I sometimes get a little bit nervous because there's a lot of those conversions going on right now where you're taking sort of like mediocre games from Armor Games, Newgrounds, whatever, moving them over to Steam and making a profit off of them real fast when they used to be free and they're not really worth paying for and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm happy to say that Armed with Wings Rearmed is not one of those games. I was actually really surprised when I played this game. It's a simple game, and if you don't know it, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up with some puzzle aspects. And so today we're going to be playing the story mode for a little bit. I'm actually going to be playing for the first time with a controller today just to check that out. I beat the game the first time in about 2 hours with the keyboard. The game is not completed right now. It's in early access, so they are actively developing the game and adding more stuff. I think there's about 26 levels right now, which you can get through in about 2 hours, but they are a lot of fun, and a lot of the ideas that they're playing around with are pretty cool, and so I wanted to show the game off today. We'll obviously give our thoughts at the end with some of my critiques, but for right now, let's play the game, shall we? Armed with Wings Rearmed. Let's go. First things first, we'll go to story mode, and I'm going to start on, let's see, we got difficulty modes that we can mess with. I don't want to do that. We'll just start right here, and so I've completed about half the levels that you can level up through right now. Those little boxes right up above there that are flashing that say levels complete, you actually unlock stuff as you play the game more and more times, and so you unlock new characters, new weapons. As of right now, I don't know if you get new characters, but I looked at some of the other games because this is apparently like the 4th Armed with Wings game, and the other games seem to have a lot of characters in them. So this one right now only has one character, but you unlock new weapons, new combos, and things like that along the way that will make your next playthroughs easier, and then I assume that once they put the harder difficulties in, it'll actually make those runs a little bit easier too. So anyways, let's start it on up. So in we go. As you can tell, the game is animated in a very unique way, and in fact, I think they just kept it like bichromic. I don't know if you could even call that like dichromatic or whatever. Either way, it uses black, white, and gray, and that's pretty much it. But one of the things that they've been able to do through doing this is it allows them to eliminate detail from the characters while at the same time being able to focus on the silhouettes, and so it maintains detail by eliminating detail. It's a very odd concept to think about, but I like what they've done with the graphics. So in terms of the game controls, you just press the arrow keys to move back and forth if you're playing with the keyboard. The A key is going to make you attack, and the S key is going to make you block. That's all there is to it. You can also swap to your eagle or your little crow or whatever he's supposed to be by pressing tab right there. I haven't played with the controller, so right now I'm playing with the controller, but as far as I know, you got the right trigger is going to allow you to block, the left trigger is going to allow you to swap to your crow, and then the A button is going to allow you to take a swipe at the enemy if you're playing with an Xbox controller. Obviously, the control stick's going to do everything else. When it comes to jumping, the game works just like the older Zelda games on the N64. You just run towards a ledge, and it just works on its own. Let's open up a bridge right there. There we go. We'll bridge the divide. Nobody ever bridges the multiplication, though. Everybody always bridges the divide. It seems like he gets left out. And so you just run towards an edge, and it jumps automatically on its own. The first thing that's really going to strike a player when you play this game is just how seamless the animation is. I absolutely love it. It looks really good. As far as the art style goes, it actually sort of reminds me of something you would see from the developers of, like, Bastion or Transistor. Like, it looks really clean, and I've been impressed with it. I think the crow graphic or the eagle graphic could be cleaned up a little bit. But all of the characters actually move very nice. In a lot of ways, it also reminds me of Gendy Tartakovsky's work, or maybe something, you know, that he worked on over time. We'll take a leap of faith right there. Samurai Jack, there we go, that's what I'm thinking about. And so nonetheless, let's continue forward because I want to show you the meat and potatoes of the game. This is going to be one of the first puzzles right here. Oh, never mind, we're fighting a guy. Let's fight a guy, shall we? You build up a combo as you go along, and as your combo builds, you earn more and more points. Up at the top, you'll see that I have a score. that score is actually sort of like XP or currency, or maybe like the little green globes or red globes that you pick up in other games. Like at Darksiders, I think you picked up little red globes and stuff like that. Onimusha, all of those games. Up at the top, it's basically like that. When you lose, that score is added to kind of like your pool of points, and then you use it to buy new items or whatever else. It's a pretty cool little thing that I think definitely needs to be mentioned, because we may not get to we may not die and get our points actually like tallied by the end of this. Maybe I'll commit suicide, I don't know. We'll grab the key real fast with the A, and then we'll move this back on over to here. We'll drop it off in the middle of that key abyss. Bad for the key, good for us. Allows us to touch this flag, which allows us to go to the next level. Level 3. I'm pretty sure there's a cutscene in here somewhere, which is why I'm being so quiet. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it. I'm trying really, really hard not to right now. I don't want to be that guy. We summon you, lone warrior, to bless you with power and purpose. Go back to where you began. Without ally and army, you alone will slay the king. I wish only to slay Vandir. Tell me, just who are you? You will soon come to understand. When we meet again, now go. Off we fly. It seems like it's kind of painful being teleported right now. Either that or he seems kind of dejected about it. He's like, oh man, I gotta teleport again. I'm gonna stare at the ground and be sad. Okay, so now we're in the real world. I love the backgrounds. I love the frame rate. Like, the frame rate is locked to 40 as of right now, which is a thing that might bother some people. I don't know if that's due to something that happens inside of the engine, or whether that was a design decision. Some people that'll be bothered by, but I figured I'd bring it up. The animation still looks pretty good at 40, and so I love the way the attacks move right there. You can actually see everything flow as you go through the enemies. If you time your blocks just right, it actually parries, and then it ripostes, and so you can do kind of a cool little counter blow, too. I'll show you it in just a moment. We'll see if we can land it. I've been playing this game a bit, though. I got really addicted to it the other night. I was sitting there and playing it for a while. Let me see if I can get this going. There it is right there. And so you can counter your enemies as well. Unfortunately, the counter doesn't feed into more attacks. And so what I wish is when you countered, if you timed it just right, it would actually move into your next combo that you spam out with the A button. I just felt like that'd be kind of cool. Those little globes, oh, I just got nailed in my head right there. We can also do this little dodge roll move right here in case you're into it. I don't know. I find that it's best. I actually hit the wrong key right there. I was expecting X to be attacked for some reason. That's how it is with every other Xbox game, and so I get weirded out when it's not. There we go. So these little orbs right here, they actually allow you to get your health back. So we'll grab those. They also give you a little bit of score in case you're interested in that sort of thing. Want to unlock some new goodies along the way. I love that roll animation too. It looks so good. It looks beautiful. I really do hope this game gets some attention through this video. Like, because it's one of those games that caught me by surprise. As of right now, the concepts that they're playing with, the puzzles are fairly simple. The combat is simple as well. There are a couple of enemies that'll take you a little while to figure out. But if they keep developing on these things and the game continues to get more and more complicated into like the 50s and 60s levels, I could see this game definitely being something that would garner some praise and definitely deserve some notice. What we need to do right here is we need to take our eagle, we'll take that rock, we'll bring it on over to the other side, get it lined up real fast. That was way easier than with a keyboard, I'll tell you that much right now. And then what we got to do is once we get back over here, take that, and rock, I drop you into the spike pit because I don't love you anymore. He's like, no, all I want is your love, noble geologist. Let me stab some of these dudes in their heads real fast. I'm gonna see if I can get a good combo going. I should get out of the way because he's gonna take me out right there. I know, you get a sixth sense for it when you play this game. Exactly when you miss a swing, you're like, oh, he's gonna counter that, and it's gonna be ugly, and you know when to dodge roll. Because you can dodge roll out of anything, which is really, really nice. And while you dodge roll, I think you're sort of immune. Not completely and totally, but I think against certain attacks, you're immune. In here, I think we fight our first new enemy, which are these little Hydra things that spit Kamehameha blasts at you. They're like, Kamehameha! And it hurts like hell. It hurts like a beezy. I don't remember what's in here. Oh yeah, a bunch of we gotta rush them quick. Let's get some points, shall we? I love points. Points make me happy. I was raised in the arcade generation, and if I could put my 3 letters up on the screen, I will be stoked about it. Obviously, I'm gonna pick ass if they're gonna go up on the screen. Everybody put up ass when they did it. Let's keep this combo running if we can, because 15 points a swing is really, really good. If I can get like 2,000, 3,000 points out of this playthrough, I would be stoked. There's also a survival mode where it just throws enemies at you the entire time, and you earn points from that. So if you didn't want to play the game through again and you're bored with that, there's kind of like a time trial, endless combat mode, which is pretty cool too. What we have to do right here is we actually have to bait this little guy back. Yeah, take a swing at me, and then come over here. Come on. Come after me. I know you want it.
If you want my birdie and you want to stab me, step on my switch right now.
There we go. So we stepped on the switch. We'll rush on in and whack this guy real fast. I don't want to be too excited. The diversity of our whacking is actually limited to that which is done with a sword, but you you know, he might get the wrong idea. We're not going to be doing that kind of whacking today. I charge for that. Go to this side, and what do we have going on right now? Oh, I remember this puzzle. So you got to take this guy. You bait him off to this side right here. There's actually a couple ways that you can do it, and once you bait him off to that side, allow you to get onto the ledge. We'll take him out real fast with a combo. I might let him attack me just to show off the... Ow, no! Just to show off the parrying, not to get hit in the face. That was unfortunate. Why would you do that to me? All right, we don't need that rock right now. We don't need to get to rocking just yet. Instead, I'm going to go after this guy, and actually you can knock people up in the air too. If you hold up an attack, you can actually do a little knockback right there if you're into that sort of thing. If you hold down an attack, you can do like a mega charge attack like that right there too, and that's where the animation really reminds me of Samurai Jack is right there. I can't prove it, but I'd be willing to bet that the guy that animated it was probably at least slightly inspired by Samurai Jack because it looks so clean. Don't jump down into the middle right there. It's a bad plan. It'll probably hurt you. You may go home crying to your mama. We'll take this guy out right here. All right. I often cry to my mama. It's a good thing to do. Keep yourself young. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. That was actually just something that I made up. I swear to God, I just made it up. I just made it up. Dive bomb. Oh, man, I screwed it up. It's okay. We'll drop the rock over there. And if you smell what the rock is cooking, it's raising a bridge. For some reason, when you raise a bridge, it smells like fresh pancakes. I don't know. So there it is. Fresh pancake smell. Delicioso. Off to this side, I hope we find ourselves some new enemies to fight. Oh, nope, the end of the level. We're the hell on out of here. Level 10, if we hold this down, this is going to be the first point where they elucidate the fact, or at least make you aware of the fact where you can blow up rocks by holding downwards. And we meet our first enemy that requires us to use that attack as well. Let's go through these little guys right here. There it is, and in the next level, we're going to go after a thing that kind of looks like the bad guy from Out of This World. In the first level, the thing that chases you until you swing on the rope. Yep, I know about that game. That game was a big part of my childhood, as was Flashback. We'll blow that up right there, and we could actually do a charge attack right there and get it started. You don't get as many points for it, though, so I don't tend to use charge attacks on things. I tend to try and combo my way through. Let's get ourselves some freebie health right there. That'll put us back up to full. Get a couple swipes off right there. This guy's actually got a lot more HP than I expected. I'm going to drop off shallowly because this is the thing that I was talking about, the out-of-this-world beast. There he is, and you're supposed to actually attack him like so. And so you wait for him to come. He's really hard to parry. He's hard to dodge. I wouldn't recommend using normal combos on him. I would actually recommend just blasting your way through with the downward strike. It's the easiest way to deal with him. Down he goes. All right. I don't know what that says right there, but It says something with a WH at the front end. Little attack right here to work our way on through. To that guy, it probably didn't feel like a little attack. It probably felt like a really big attack. But we'll hack our way on through. I actually really like the combat in this game. It's simplistic, but at the same time, it sort of reminds me of maybe like, I don't know, like Comic Zone maybe is kind of what it reminds me of. Oh, that's not one of those things that I wanted to fight like this. Let's fall back for just a second. I'll finish him off the easy peasy lemon squeezy way. Cheese mode! Somehow we can conjure a lightning strike underground, which is pretty impressive, all things considered. Was there anything back up in here? No. But the combat kind of reminds me of Comic Zone in the fact that it's not like super complicated. You just kind of you got to know what combos to use against what enemies and what attacks to use. But at the end of the day, there's only like 6 or 7 different attacks. You know what I mean? You can extend out your combo by leveling up a little bit, and there is some cool stuff in there. You can make your health bar bigger. But I like how the combat is accessible, it's simple, but at the same time, it's also fun and feels like it has impact. And so while some people might be looking, ooh, the wings give us permanence, the Red Bull right there, the Red Bull effect. We'll go down in here, we'll grab that key. We got to bring that. Was there anything else this way? No. All right, well, those wings make it so that for the rest of the level, we have permanent wings. And so it allows us just to fly our crow wherever the hell we want to. He makes an eagle noise or like a hawk noise or something, though, so I don't know. His bill goes downwards, too. He's got a hooked bill, which I think denotes a raptor. So we'll unlock that door right there. I bet he's a hawk. Seems like he might be. How come I don't have a hawk friend? I was wanting to get in. Aw, man, we fell down a hole. Damn it. Welcome to my life. Well, welcome to the first boss, too. Straight into the darkest pit we fight. I don't know if he's a minotaur or not. I can't really see his face. He kind of seems minotaurish, though. You want to... With this guy, the secret is to stand close to him. Oh, he'll actually... I think they changed him a little bit. Let's get our whooping on then. There we go. He's going to fall over, and you got to get him with a charge attack once he falls over. And so, bam, there it is. Big old chunk of health gone. He's going to roar and get angry because we struck him in the back of his cranium. He's going to swing right there. It's going to give us another opening. He's going to fall again. He's actually pretty simple. The final boss actually takes a little bit of finagling, though. There's only 2 bosses in the game right now, as far as I know. Von Deer is actually quite a bit worse than this guy. Von Deer is pretty simple until his second phase, at which point you've actually got to memorize the combo that he does, and it took me a while to realize that he was actually repeating a pattern. And once you realize he's repeating a pattern, you start to see the opening and all of it. I'm going to bait out that whirlwind strike one more time. All right, we get a couple strikes in right there. Don't give him time to do his own, and then, oops, I messed that one up. Drop that right there a little bit early. We didn't get a good attack off, but it's okay. We'll probably get him on the next one. Come closer. You can actually beat this boss by, like, not moving. It's actually a little bit weird. You can just, like, stand there and bait his attacks out. I'd say they can make it a little bit more precarious by maybe making his attack happen. Ooh! Ownage and cutscenes! And on we go with the pitter-patter of little feet. You will notice that we're fighting our way through the game barefoot. That is super gangster. I went barefoot for like an entire summer one time just to like test it out and see what was up, because I read somewhere that like ancient Hawaiians, like they didn't wear shoes and stuff. They just kind of like ran around barefoot, and they had feet that were like concrete. And so I tried it, and oh my god, do your feet hurt after a little while of doing that. Got a big guy over here. Since we don't have a running combo, not going to risk it. Probably just try and wipe him out that way. Come on. Ooh, he's going to take 3. Alright, he's got a little bit of a chin on him. And by that, I don't mean a chinchilla, which is the most adorable of small rodentian creatures. We've got a nasty little guy up here. I don't think he'll attack my hawk, though. I think later on they're going to retrofit some of the levels and add some new stuff, because it seems like there's a lot of alcoves and things in the game right now that don't lead anywhere. And so if we go down through right now, we got a couple of enemies. My recommendation would be to bait them off to one side if you can. Is there another one over here? No, there is. Okay, so what I want to do is we're going to jump, straight into the side of a halberd spear thingy. We'll fight this guy real fast. He should fall down soon, I hope. If he doth not, they don't actually become aware of you if you come up from behind them, so I would definitely recommend if you're trying to orchestrate your levels. Oh, we got to keep our combo even though we got hit. That's pretty cool. Feed me more points because I love points. And so with that 43-point combo, god, we're almost up to 3,000 points right now. Oh, we got a ninja. So the ninjas are a little bit odd. I haven't figured out the best way to fight them just yet. It seems like the drop strike works pretty well because they walk right into it if you can time it right. I think you can also do that right there, and if you dodge roll through their attack, you can come up behind them and strike them down that way. But that seems to be the two methods that are really, really effective with the ninjas. Obviously, if you get attacked by multiples, they're actually a really, really nasty enemy. If you get hit by 2 or 3 ninjas at the same time, it is horrific. We actually might beat the entire game in one sitting. I think there's 26 levels. Oh, I remember this part. All right, let's go for it. And so this is actually a little bit of a timer puzzle if you're into Castlevania type stuff. If you remember the levels in Castlevania where the spikes would rise up off the floor and you had to race them and outrun them, it's kind of like that. And so we got these right here. All right, we'll go up to right there. Pretty generous with the time you're allotted, though, so don't panic too much about it. We'll drop down into here. I remember at some point there's like an enemy around somewhere. Oh, yeah, we got to get a stone from in here. And so my recommendation would actually be to cancel that out because he brings back whatever he's holding if it's light enough. Then if we come over to this side, drop that right there, and then we're the hell on out of here. And I remember maybe there was some enemies down during this part. Yeah. That's what I recall. Let's keep mashing out some strikes right now. I actually, having played the game both now with keyboard and with a controller, I highly recommend a controller. I think it's a better call. The controller feels much more natural. The keyboard works perfectly fine. Don't get me wrong. I beat the game with the keyboard easy peasy, no problem. Like, you get used to the controls. But for me, for whatever reason, the directionality of moving left and right, I don't like doing it. Oh, that's right. I forgot we could do this. And so when controlling the hawk, you can actually hold down the right trigger and he'll stay in place, allow you to finish the level. But anyways, moving left and right laterally, actually, I didn't like doing it with my right hand for some reason. My left hand has been trained with WASD to do it that way, and I don't know. It's just a hard conversion to make. We'll get that going right there. That's actually sealed off on the top side. On the right-hand side right there. What can I do with some of this? I think I got to drop down below first. Let me grab onto that because there might be enemies. Oh no, we got a giant weight up in here. Alright, time for some heavy lifting. Yeah, time to do that arm day. Well, he couldn't make it. Here, let's move it on over to here. There we go. And I think if I do this right... Actually, it looks like we can't get it up there. Okay, so we need to figure out the way... Oh, there's a switch over here that I didn't see. Alright, so since there's a switch, that opens that up right there. And then what does that do for me? Does it open up the thing with the wings on that side? It does not. And so does it open up... It does nothing over there either. Oh, there's another switch in there. Okay, I see what I'm supposed to do now. We'll bring this back with us. Alright, and then we'll step on you. We'll take you through here. We'll hold that with right trigger. We'll move him off of there. We'll go on into there, and we'll drop that on down. That's going to give us the wings so that we can carry the heavy weight now. And so let's go over to here. We'll grab the wings. We don't really need it right now. The wings will allow us to permanently fly, and then we'll go down to the bottom layer. As of right now, I actually don't want to give away too much of the game in the introduction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my thoughts on the game from here on in. I hope you've enjoyed the playthrough thus far. Let's get right to it. Armed with Wings Rearmed actually flew onto my radar in a couple of different ways, and as I said earlier, there's this sort of collective eye-rolling that occurs among reviewers and, other gamers whenever they hear that a game is a Newgrounds port that's moving over to Steam. That bit of nastiness aside, there are also titles that are on Newgrounds that I really do believe deserve to be released as singular or standalone titles, and Armed with Wings Rearmed is among that vanguard. I think that artistically, there aren't a ton of games out there that are quite as fluid or well animated as Armed with Wings, so that's a big, big plus when it comes to attempting to figure out whether or not the game is going to deserve a purchase for you personally. I'm really, really glad to see games coming out that aren't heavily relying on pixelated 8-bit or 16-bit graphics or whatever, and it's not that I dislike the retro aesthetic, it's just that every time you get a beat-em-up game, it's like they tend to fall back on that River City Ransom sort of motif, and I think that it's fantastic to see a game come out which is really invoking Samurai Jack with smoothness and fluidity. The frame rate being locked to 40 aside, I like just about everything with regards to the way that the game plays out on screen. It's a treasure to look at, and it was the frosting on my beat-em-up cake. In terms of gameplay and control, to the latter, the keyboard controls work pretty well, and the controller response is good. In the former, the game's combat is not complicated, but it performs well enough when compared to other games of the beat-em-up combo mashing genre, and it manages to do it while conjuring up some really interesting puzzles and some jumping levels. I think it suffers a little bit from enemy repetition, but hopefully that'll be something that gets taken care of as the development process unfolds. I really like the unlocking mechanic, as it puts a good carrot on the end of the gameplay stick, and I really enjoyed equipping all my combo upgrades and new weapons, if only to ogle at them during my third or fourth playthrough. I'm the kind of person that collected all the orbs and random XP things in Onimusha or Darksiders, and really liked upgrading characters, and so it managed to scratch that itch for me, and believe me when I say I had a big itchy spot. It's not because I don't bathe, though. Let's stay on point here. The swords and weapon upgrades, they do increase your stats, and so if you're one of those gear hounds that really likes upgrading characters and getting better, I'm assuming that once more levels are put in, the swords, they make you better at doing different things, and so my guess is that greater challenges are in the works, and so the grouping of levels that we have right now are in early access. They kind of comprise what's mainly a big extended tutorial. I really liked the later levels. They started to mix in ninjas and springboards and kind of fast-paced, pulse-pounding puzzles and other random little bits. And so honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing the game escalate, because it seemed like the game's challenge and difficulty went up in a way where you got to take in new things, but it was slow enough to where you never felt like you were overwhelmed. And so I really look forward to seeing more as the game develops, but it's important to remember this is an early access title. It's available for $7.99 through Steam, and so I'm having trouble thinking of any other game which is really exactly like it, and I think that speaks to whether or not it's going to be worth a purchase. If you enjoy side-scrolling throwdowns in the past, or have enjoyed, I guess would be the best way to put that, and you've been pining to puncture, I think that Armed with Wings Rearmed, it's a strong choice, but, people should be wary that it's an early access title and it's a little bit short as of right now. I think I got maybe 2 hours out of it. So anyways, my name is Splattercat. This is Weekly Indie Newcomer. I will see you in the next episode. Today's game was Armed with Wings Rearmed. It's coming out on Steam. Actually, it's already out on Steam by the time you guys will see this, and I will see you all next time.